Mr. Conor Hughes, it's good to speak to you again. Thank you very much for coming on the podcast. What's the crack, my friend?
Good to see you, Brandon. I'm all good, man. I'm all good.
I'm glad to hear it. I see you're turning into a bit of a YouTuber these days. I've been keeping an eye on your vlogs. They're looking very good.
Yeah. We've only a new idea. I just think like building up to this fight and then everything that's gonna happen after it. I think it's good time to jump on the YouTube bandwagon a lot.
Yeah, 100%. Was it something you were thinking about doing for a while? Was it or?
Yeah, maybe. Like I thought about it a couple of times, but it was really me videographer. He kind of like threw the idea to me and was like, "Look, I think this is the perfect time." So we went with it and just kind of seeing where it goes.
Nice one. It's looking good. It's looking good. I seen on
So
your vlog you were talking about a book you were reading about Michael Jordan. I thought it was very, very, very interesting.
yeah, Relentless by Tim Grover. Yeah, have you read
Yeah,
it?
I haven't read it, but I've heard great things about it. But I found it interesting when you were talking, sort of comparing it to the fight game. And what kind of
Yeah.
things have you got out of that book? Any wee golden nuggets you can share with everyone?
You know what? He goes on about like different types of personalities, and he names some like a closer, a cleaner, and all these types of different stuff. And uh, it's been a while since I've read it fully, but you know, there's a couple of stuff in there where he's relating to like Michael Jordan and his type of mentality and just how he was, and it was there was a few bits in there where I was like, you know, these people kind of think the same as what I kind of think, you know what I mean? So, to be honest, Brandon, I'll have to crack it open again and send you some stuff over. But there is some solid stuff in there, to be honest, and it's just like I said, it's good to be able to relate to like such high level athletes in a different game as well.
Yeah, definitely. And there's in books like that, there's always stuff that's comparable, even to my own life when I'm not an athlete. I find all
Yeah.
that stuff very, very interesting. What does the next week look like for you? Obviously, we're sort of approaching fight week now. When do you go out to Leon?
But we fly over on Tuesday the 9th. This week for me, mate. I start me cut tomorrow, so start cutting carbs as of tomorrow. So I'm probably gonna be moody for the rest of the
I've
week.
got you in a good day then.
Yeah, just about. Um, yeah, just to be honest, mate, just getting ready to fly over, getting ready to do the cut, to everything what they've got us doing over there when we get there. So I've heard, you know, we've got a face off on the Wednesday, so I'll be looking forward to that one.
What kind of things are you looking for in the face-off? Are you one of these guys that sort of sees it as the fight before the fight?
No, you know what? Like, I hear people talking about that all the time, and I just none of it matters. Like, I've had fights where people have felt nerves, like I've felt their nerves in them, and it doesn't really make a difference. So, at the end of the day, we've got to get in there and fight. How he looks, how he feels at the face-off, I'm not really too concerned. I might read some little bits from him, but got to fight still, haven't we?
I suppose as tournament style, it's maybe different because obviously you've seen Chizoff. You were there, like Belfast, for example. The last fights was on. Because you're sort of progressing through the tournament on the same cards, you see each other about. Whereas I suppose if it was a standalone fight and a standalone opponent, that's the face-off might be the first time you're seeing him.
Yeah, like I've known Chizov now for about 2 years. We both started in the first tournament, so you know I've spoke to Chizov. Like we're all right. I like the kid, but you know he's in the way now, and yeah, I suppose it is a bit of a mad one because we've been signed with each other and been okay with each other, but business at the end of the day, lad, he's got to be taken out. So
Yeah, but there's no hate in it for you. There's fighters out there that kind of need a wee bit of hate. They go into the fight and give them that bit of fire. Are you not like that? As it you say, is it
no.
strictly just business?
Yeah, for Joe, I just don't think emotions save you in this game, really. To be honest, they might work for a number of fights, but I think if you go in there emotional and all that, I think it can mess with you a lot. So, I I like to just be chilled and calm, really. Yeah, the emotional side is. I know a load of fighters that have got to find like some sort of hate in their opponent to actually want to fight them, but for me, you know, I've been competing since I was a kid. This is just something I do. So I don't have to hate Chisov to do him in. I don't have them to. I don't need him to be scared or worried about me either. You know, his skills pay the bills, and I believe I'll take him out.
I love that mindset. In terms of weight cutting, you just mentioned it there. You're going to start it tomorrow. The other thing about this tournament style of fighting is that you're having to make weight 3 times within, what is it? When was the first fight? Was that May?
10th,
May, wasn't
10th of May. 10th of May,
May?
Belfast.
So it's now December. Like, that's 8 months you've had to make weight 3 times.
Yeah, mate, it's a lot. It is a lot, and if you look at my record as well, this will be my 15th fight in 4 years. I've actually been like so active since turning pro. So it is a lot, and it definitely does take a toll on the body, and it does get hard. But I mean, it's what we signed up for. We knew PFL was going to be busy. We knew the tournaments. We knew the situation with it and what comes with it. So, I like being active. I don't really like sitting out and having too much time off. I'm always in the gym anyway, whether I'm in camp or I'm not in camp. But yeah, I think it's a lot. It's a lot, but I'll be fine with the weight cut, man. I'm in a good spot. I've got a good nutritionist, so I'll make weight easy.
Have you seen the stuff? John Martin's come in as the new CEO of the PFL. I'm not sure if you've been following this story, but he spoke about they're getting rid of the tournaments from 2026. I think they're keeping the MENA in Africa as sort of like a feeder league, but they're completely scrapping the tournaments. Have you heard much about this? Yeah.
I actually spoke to Steers about it just before it got announced, and I knew they were toying with the idea of maybe scrapping the tournaments, but I did still think that they were going to possibly keep Europe, to keep a feeder like they are for Africa and MENA. But I don't know what the plan is with like European fighters. I'm guessing they're still going to sign across. I think they'd be stupid not to. But I think in terms of like PFL as a whole and what makes sense for fighters, I do think it is a little bit better because you've got like now you've got how many champions? You've got Champion Series champions, World Tournament champions, Europe champions. It can be confusing. So I think this is good. I think making a ranking system basically like every other MMA organization format. I think it just makes things a lot more clear. Gives fighters a clearer pathway to a route to the top, to the title, and all that type of stuff. And I think it works well. The prize money is good, but after this win, mate, I want that prize money every single time I fight. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you're saying. As a fan, I think it's a very good move, to be honest. But in saying that, what PFL Europe is doing is very, very good. Like, I do enjoy the European competitions, but it does get confusing. I only enjoy the European one because I'm close to it. I know a lot of the fighters and stuff, and I do enjoy seeing it progress. But I think ultimately it is a good move. Will that kind of change your stance on fighting at all? Because you might be a little bit more inactive without the tournament format, do you think?
Yeah, well, yeah, and you know what? Like, I speak to people about this a lot because obviously I've been active since I turned pro, and I'm glad I have because it's put me in a position that I'm in. You know what I mean? But I think after this fight, I can be a bit more selective with me fight, as in the time scale of me fighting. I can let my body recover a bit better in between fights, and not only that, mate. Like after this, you're looking on some big fights, some big names and stuff. So not that I'm looking past Chizov at all, but I know where winning this fight takes me. So I also need the time out to improve as well. You know what I mean? Not just being camp. I'm always improving, obviously, but having time to train to focus purely on improving compared to like getting ready for the camp. Getting ready for the fight, weight cutting, everything else. You know what I mean?
Does yours? So obviously, when you're going from, and especially like you got to the final of last year's tournament, so that was 3 fights in 8 months again. Do you? So fighters talk all the time about how they're always preparing for a specific opponent. So let's say Chizov, you might be working on your grappling, you might be working on your striking, or depending who the opponent is. Do you do that, or do you just always sort of train all around? You try and improve every area of your game, or do you sort of, right, this round we're going to fight such and such and need to tailor my training a bit?
No, I'm always just training to improve myself. I'm always like I am my own worst critic, to be honest. I am always like nitpicking at myself, and I know more than anybody my areas that need work and everything else. So don't get me wrong. In fight camp, it's a little bit different. In fight camp, obviously we strategize towards the opponents and game plan and whatever else. But overall, I am just looking on improving myself and always getting better. Like I don't try and fixate my whole game on beating one type of guy. You know what I mean? And I think as well, if you look across my fights, you can see that I kind of slightly adapt my style depending on who I'm fighting, what type of style it is, and everything else. So, um, yeah, for me, it's about improving myself. Just put more focus on me. I focus more on myself. You know what I mean, rather than opponents and styles and but yeah, fight camp, obviously there's specific stuff, there's strategy, there's things that we got to pick out on where he's good and where he's not so good. So it's different, but overall, always just focusing on me.
What about last year's experience? I asked you a similar question on the first fight of this tournament in Belfast, but I suppose we can revisit it now that you've found yourself in the final again. Is there
Yeah.
any key lessons that or key sort of things that you're thinking you maybe done last year that you don't want to do this year, or is there things that you think maybe went well getting into the final last year?
Yeah, like I think overall this season I'm just in far better shape physically and mentally. To be honest, far better shape. Honestly, like looking back, even last year I was banging on about the two class coming back from that a lot and kind of like keeping myself in that sort of place mentally of the losses, the lessons, and all that and bouncing back and making it a big thing out of that. And I think that kind of kept me in the wrong sort of energy. To be honest, I think that kind of kept me stuck in a place where I didn't really want to be no more. If that makes sense, more mentally. Whereas now I'm over that, and I honestly feel like that was meant to happen. Everything that happened, the way it happened, how close I came to it getting turned around and everything else. I truly believe that was just like God's way of being like, look, one, be patient, and two, I just don't think I was ready for what was to come next. You know what I mean? Whereas now I feel like I'm ready for the next part of my career. I'm ready to be a champion. I'm ready to what comes with that and everything else. And I just don't think the time was right then, but I feel like the time is right now. So I've just think there's a lot of things I've took from it, mate, but more just made me mature and grow as a person and as a fighter. But yeah, I'm in far better shape physically and mentally than last season for sure.
I want to ask you about the two finishes you've got on your way to this final. Mate, I was doing media at the first one, as I said, so I was sitting a few rows back from the cage, and that knockout, oh my goodness, that was. It probably was the most devastating knockout I've seen in person. I wasn't there for the Gino Fanstinas one, so that could have been worse. But that first knockout, that was
Yeah,
brutal.
yeah, that was cold, mate. That was heavy. Like, and you know what? Like, obviously, that was coming back from the Jakob loss, and you know what? I obviously lost the fight. I lost a lot of stuff outside of that as well. So that's just the type of emotion that came out of me after that fight, mate. I didn't even realise that he was still out. I was just going around the cage screaming my head off. And like, it was actually one of the cameramen was like, mate, he's still out. You need to calm down. I looked over and he's got an oxygen mask on and everything's ruthless,
Yeah.
mate. It's a cold game, but I've shown now like multiple times that I've got one shot power in them little gloves. And I'm 28 now. I'm getting older, and just maturing me in my game as a whole and getting better. I've got the touch of death, mate. I can put people out with one shot, and I've shown that in back-to-back fights now. To come back from a loss, losing in the final after beating Jacobo for 10 minutes, and then
Yeah.
coming back, knocking Sebastian out cold. knocking Gino out, who was the bigger man, gonna give me problems, all these types of things that people were saying, and just make statements the way I have. I don't see anybody else in the PFL that's doing that.
Which KO was better, the Sebastian or the Gino?
Like me personally, like what do I think?
Yeah, you personally.
It's hard, mate. It's hard because obviously, like the Sebastian knockout was cold. You know what I mean? I think that was like wow, like that was half scary. But don't know, the Gino one was clean, man. That was clean work from the setup. Obviously, it being the first round, but setting them up, how we baited it, how the game plan, like literally, me and my coach Jason were literally just saying word for word how that went when we went out there. So maybe the Gino one for me, just because of how clean it was. But I don't know, man. You'll have to ask the fans. You'll have to ask people what they think on that, because that's a tough one.
My opinion's going to be biased because I was there for the Sebastian one. I was like one of them moments where everyone celebrates as it happens, and then you realize, oh shit! Like
Yeah.
similar to yourself when you see the oxygen mask coming out, and like I've seen knockouts in person, but I think it was how close I was. Like I heard the head hitting the canvas, and it was like, oh, it was
It was deadly.
it was brutal. It was brutal,
Yeah,
but
it was deadly.
it was a beautiful shot. At the same time, it was a really, really nice shot. What was your experience like fighting in Belfast? I'm, of course, a man from Northern
Mate,
Ireland myself, so
you know what? I've never been to Belfast. I didn't realise how actually nice it was. The arena is obviously it's an iconic arena. You know what I mean? There's been so many fights there, and so many great athletes there over the years. Belfast was brilliant. To be honest, it's probably one of my best trips that we've done fighting. So, mate, I'd go back. I'd go back any day of the week, really. I proper enjoyed my time there. The weather was nice. The people are obviously lovely. I'm quarter Irish myself anyway, so yeah, mate, it was brilliant. It was like being at home. It was like being at
yeah.
Liverpool. So I loved it, lad.
Yeah, there always has that nice crossover with Ireland and Liverpool, isn't there? I actually asked you that about that before. Did it feel like home? And you said that it does. I think the crack, the people, the banter is very, very similar, isn't it?
Yeah, literally the same. And not only that, when obviously I was getting my name announced, as soon as they said Liverpool, England, I just got a roar from the crowd and just felt like I was at home straight away. So I loved it. Obviously the fans are wild as well. I always go back whenever I do watch that cage-side view of the Sebastian knockout, just the roar of the crowd is like, I used to dream of that stuff when I was a kid, you know what I mean? So yeah, it was one that I'll never forget, to be honest.
Yeah, no, it was a great night. It was definitely a smashing night. Just speaking on Liverpool, there was a Liverpool takeover in Qatar in the UFC just a few weeks ago, but there's
Yeah,
actually one happening this weekend in Leon as well with yourself and
exactly.
Garnett. What's it like to be sharing a stage with Dean like that?
Dean's the man, you know. Honestly, like I've got so much respect for Dean. Like he's just a good guy. Like he is a good guy. He's done so much within MMA. He does so much for like he runs like the combat college in his gym. He does a lot for the city and for UK MMA as a whole. And like just being around him the whole week, like we've fought twice on the same card, and I've just been around him for the whole week. The experience he brings, the laughs we have, the banter we buzz off each other. You know what I mean? But like experiencing this whole thing with him, he was there at Everton today.
Boo.
uh, he was there with me today, and he's just a good guy to be around, man. And you know, we said it today when he was there. He was like not only two lads from Liverpool, but two Evertonians as well to get it done and to just have the belt with them and bring them back to Liverpool together. And I think he deserves it, man. I think he deserves. He's had a long career. He's pushing on now. He won't mind me saying, but I think he deserves it, and it's obviously going to be a big deal for the pair of us to bring the belt home, the money home, and finally get this PFL Liverpool card going. That's what we need.
Mate, that would be sick, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that's what it is.
Obviously, I feel like Liverpool's been deprived of MMA events because there was some weird legislation in Liverpool or something, wasn't there, that was stopping them from having it? Is that right?
Yeah. It was the Echo, what's now called the M&S Bank Arena. They didn't. I think it was one of the Cage Warriors fights with Paddy. When he got beat by City and back, they were like throwing stuff in the cage and that. And I think ever since then they've kind of been a bit like, no, I don't want that. But I don't know whether it was that or the UFC Liverpool card. I don't know. I just heard that one of the MMA fights it got messy after this. So
What's the crack with, like, I've a MMA sidekick as a Scouser, to be a friend of mine as well. He covers our sport closely, but he just speaks about like the crop of talent that's coming through Liverpool at the minute. Of course, there's the front runners, like yourself, Dean, and obviously the ones in UFC, like Riley, Shem, and Paddy. But he says that like this here filters down the kids, this high level of fighting.
yeah.
What is the crack with this city? I know it's a fighting city and everything else, but there must be something in the water over there.
It's just who we are. It's just who we are as people. But he's not wrong, He's not wrong. Honestly, like some of the kids coming up in our gym, in the gyms around, like around the city and that, the level of talent is unbelievable. There's a kid in our gym, Riley McGrath. I think he's just about to turn 16. He's already two-time IMAF world champion. Unbelievable. The kid is ice cold. He comes in the gym, doesn't hardly speak to anyone. So he's like 3 times a day. Tells his mum we're going to the gym. Like, he takes them, you know what I mean? I always joke with him, I'm like, lads, you can wait until I'm finished. Like, you can wait until I'm done. But honestly, that all the talents, all the kids, I don't know what it is. We're just fighting people. You look at the city throughout the years, like there's the amount of boxers. Now we're looking at MMA fighters and everything else. This is the type of people we are. We are a fighting city, and he's right. This is the star. Like you've just got us at the minute, but all the kids coming through, and like other kids like Regan,
Yeah,
O'Brien, Bellamy is
O'Brien, yeah.
yeah. Like he's another beast himself. You got Shea Willow. There's loads from all over the place, mate, and I do think now is the start of it. Obviously, you've got all of us now coming in to the PFL, to the UFC, and all that. It's only going to get bigger. The amount of kids come through the gym, you're just going to see a flood of Scousers and other people, Manx and everything else coming to the big stages, mate. It's flooding it.
Yous are all mad bastards. That there probably helps.
That's what it is. We are, mate. We're mad. We fight with anything.
I just want to touch on, of course, we spoke about how there's going to be one title for each division. There is the lightweight title fight is happening. Usman Nurmagomedov taking on Alfie Davies. What's your thoughts on that fight? What way do you see that one going?
Look, I like Alfie's good, man, and he done well. He done well winning that tournament. I mean, I think Usman. I don't, honest opinion. I like Alfie, but honest opinion. I think Usman gets it done. I think just his experience fighting at the top, obviously the style. I think he will get to the wrestling a bit quicker than. Can't think of the guy's name. The Dagestani guy who Alfie fought in the final.
Yeah.
I think Usman will just get to the wrestling a little bit sooner. I think he's a little bit sharper on the feet than the other guy. But look, I mean, Alfie can do some fancy stuff. You know what I mean? He's tricky. He pulls some stuff out the bag, and he might land one of them spinning elbows as Usman shoots in. Who knows? But whoever it is, look, the way I see it is after this fight, I'm going to be looking at them types of fights. So I'll be watching that fight closely. Honest opinion, I do think Usman gets it done, but who knows, man? Alfie might shock the world again.
How far away do you think you are from a fight like that? Because something about the PFL, as confusing as it was, there was always kind of a path where if you win the Europeans, you're straight into the global season. Yeah. But of course, that can't happen now. So let's picture yourself next Monday as the PFL European champion. How far away do you think you are from the title? 1 fight, 2 fights, or?
No, I think I'll be in more fights than 1 or 2. And I'm like I say all that. I'm in no real rush to get there, but the way I see it is, win this fight, and they're talking about rankings straight after this. I've got to be in the top 10.
Oh, for sure.
If I'm European champion, I've got to be in the top 10 for the rankings. You know what I mean? And so from there, we'll look. I had people talking to me about I don't even want to go into other fights because I've got chisel to think about. But I have people throwing other fights to me. I don't care how many fights it takes me to get there. I just know I'm gonna get there. You know what I mean? So like, whether it's 2 fights, 3 fights, 4 fights, I think it's within 5 fights after this. 5 fights, I'm gonna be looking at the title fight for sure. Um, but
I'd
yeah,
say definitely within 5, like, for
it's
sure.
got to be Annie. Like it's got to be like who else? Because Alfie just won the World League, and he's straight into Usman. So then, if Usman does beat Alfie, and Paul Hughes, as whether he's fought, he's bounced back, I don't know. Like who knows? But it's got to be 3 to 5 fights maximum, man. 3 to 5
Yeah, I agree, 100%,
for
100%.
sure.
Finally, I'll let you get on, but first of all, I want you to give us your prediction. First round finish, second round finish, Conor Hughes decision. What way is this going to go?
It won't go a decision for sure. I think I think if he stays on the feet with me, I'll knock him out. Could be early. Don't be surprised if it's early. Um, I think if he tries to take me down, I think I'll submit him or finish him on the ground. It definitely doesn't go 5 rounds. I know that for sure. Um, but whatever round, honestly, I do not care. I think he's banking on me gassing. To be honest, Brandon, I think that's what he's hoping for. So whether it's round 1, round 2, 3, 4, or 5, I don't care. It's gonna be a finish. Um, but don't be surprised if I knock him out early.
You're also sharing a card with the one and only Chris Cyborg. Has that played in your mind at all? The fact that you're
Yeah,
sharing a card with a big
yeah.
name like that?
Cyborg's on the card. She's obviously probably the biggest name on the card, isn't she? Let's be real. But then obviously other things like Nemkov is on there, so Fedor's gonna be there. You know what I mean? So just
Yeah.
honestly, lad, just to be, I'm just a fan. Like I was just a kid, I was a fan of the sport. You know what I mean? And now I'm up there and I'm sharing cards with these people. Like I've watched both of them fight before I was ever even fighting. So it's just it's just great to be around, man. Like sometimes now I'm like looking at myself and I'm, getting paid well. I'm fighting on big cards with big people and life's on the up and I just look around like fucking hell, I'm here. You know what I mean? Like I'm actually living this now. But yeah, mate, it's sick. It's gonna be some experience, man. I'm looking forward to it.
Happy days, mate. That's what it's all for. It's good to see your hard work paying off. Connor, it's a pleasure chatting to you as always. Thank you very much for your time, buddy.
Thank you, Brandon. Always good to chat to you, man.
Good luck next weekend, mate.